Hey cats, what's happening? Welcome to the man cave today. Before I get started, I just wanted to thank Justin from the channel Flip and Stop. You might see some of his comments on my channel. He sent me this cool shirt. Daytona Bike Week, 69th, 2010. Now, Justin does a lot of eBay sales, and he does a lot of clothing, and he does very well with it. And he came across this shirt, and it's pretty unique. I mean, I never saw too many orange ones like this. It's also got Bike Week embroidered on the thing. It's a nice shirt, and it's extra large. I'm sorry, Justin, but I've never been to Daytona Bike Week, but it's still a cool shirt. So I'll put this up somewhere on the Wall of Fame where I can display it, and it'll remind me why I've never been to Daytona Bike Week. No, I've never been to Florida and have no reason to ever want to go there. It's just not a place that interests me. But cool shirt. Thanks, Justin. Appreciate it very much. Speaking of Bike Week, though, this is Daytona Bike Week. We got the Ohio Bike Week coming up in the end of May and the first weekend of June. I think it's the week right after, actually probably starts Memorial Day weekend and runs through that week. And I'm gonna go to Ohio Bike Week this year. Probably on the last weekend of the rally, which is probably a Saturday, I think June 4th. So I'll put more details out there. I'll probably put a post on my community page with some details. And if you're interested, let me know in the comments, and we'll ride up together. And like I said, I'll put more details, in probably a week or so. I'll let you know what we're going to do and when we're going to meet, where we're going to meet, and how we're going to do it. So cool. Sounds like a lot of fun coming up here. I was remembering back again when I was a kid, and we had our mini bikes that we used to ride around in the field. Right across the street from us was a great big field. It was at one time a farm field or an ag field, but they didn't use it for anything anymore. They just kind of let it grow up into weeds, the goldenrod and the briars and stuff. So we made a bunch of trails going all through this field, and we'd ride our mini bikes over there. And the neighbor kid had a mini bike, and he'd ride over there with us and stuff, and it was a lot of fun. Well, there was this kid that lived a couple miles away. He kind of little overweight kid. We called him Butcher. He rode our school bus. Well, Butcher's parents bought him. Apparently they were a little well off, but they bought him a brand new Kawasaki 125. And so he would ride this Kawasaki all the way through the woods, and come out into the field and come around through the field right on our trails, and then he would come over to our house with his brand new Kawasaki 125. Well, we just had these junky little mini bikes. We didn't have anything fancy like that. And this was like a real motorcycle to us as kids. And so he'd sit there, revving his engine and doing little, burnouts there and shooting rooster tails up and trying to act cool for us. And we'd say, hey, can we take a ride on your bike? Now, my mom said I can't let anyone else ride it. Well, okay, I'll give you that, because nobody else is going to ride my motorcycle either. So, I can't blame him for that. But because of the fact that he was always coming over and what are you guys doing? Well, I don't know, we're hanging out riding our mini bikes. What are you doing? Oh, I'm riding my 125. Well, go ride it then. See ya. But I don't know. I guess he was looking for friends, but he wasn't the kind of friend we wanted because he wouldn't share his motorcycle with us. And he was like the top dog on the block with the bigger motorcycle. Well, it was really common for us as kids to camp out. I mean, we did it all the time. And we lived out in the country, rural Ohio, Hinckley, Ohio. And most of the property surrounding us was Metro Park property. So it was just all woods and fields and open areas. And we'd go maybe a quarter mile from the house over into the woods and we'd make a camp. Just far enough to where mom and dad couldn't hear us or see us. And they were cool with it. I mean, my mom and dad could care less. If we said we wanted to go camping, fine, go ahead, have fun. Now, our idea of camping was this. We'd take a piece of plastic and throw it on the ground. And then we had an old tarp we'd tie up to some trees, like a lean-to thing. So there was no sides or walls or anything. And then all we had was the cheap cotton sleeping bags that, if you got them wet, you were going to stay wet. But that was fine when we were kids. It didn't matter to us, And so we'd camp, we'd make a campfire, and we'd always have some hot dogs or something to cook over the fire, some marshmallows or whatever. One of the neighbor boys, his father was a beer drinker. He liked his Pabst Blue Ribbon, and he bought it by the case loads. And he had Pabst Blue Ribbon cases, just literally stacked up in his garage. So my buddy it was pretty easy for my buddy to sneak a few cans of beer and bring them to the camp out too, where, everybody would get and when you're kids, one beer, like, woo-wee. So, yeah, we were always up to mischief of some fashion or another. The other thing we did was there was these weeds that grew, or, in the field there. And I'm not talking about pot or marijuana or anything, but there was these weeds, and we'd pick these dead weeds, and they were hollow in the middle, and you could light them, and they would smolder just like a cigarette or a cigar, and they were hollow, so you could puff on them, and we'd carry these, like we were smoking cigarettes. We'd carry these sticks around with us, and yeah, like that's good for your health. And we didn't inhale or anything. We were just puffing. One of the kids could blow the smoke rings, really, really well, and we were amused by that. But we thought one day we were camping out there, and we thought, you know what? Let's go toilet paper Butcher's house, because he really annoys us. And everybody thought, yeah, that's a great idea. So we had this old army backpack, and we loaded it up with, I don't know, probably about 8 rolls of toilet paper. Put it on my back, and it was myself, 2 of my brothers, and 2 of the neighbor boys. We were all camping out together, and we decided, let's go TP Butcher's house. Well, we waited till like about 2 in the morning. We wanted to make sure everybody was sound asleep and there wasn't anything else going on. And we took off. We went maybe a mile down the road to this dead-end road, and you could follow this dead-end road all the way up about a mile or so. And then you had to cut through the woods, and you'd come out onto this other state route, and right across the street was Butcher's house. So we thought, okay, let's just, do that. Well, we were about halfway up this dead-end street, and there was a farm there, and they had a dog, a big German Shepherd. In fact, they called him Bozo. How did I know that? Well, the dog started barking just fiercely and wouldn't stop barking. And we decided, let's just keep walking. Just don't pay any attention to the dog. Just keep walking. Well, the dog came all the way out to the street and started really, showing its teeth, growling, very ferocious, and it was attacking us. It was trying to bite us. And so we didn't know what to do. We were just kind of froze there, standing on the side of the road trying to fend off this dog. Well, all at once, all the lights came on in the farm. All the big floodlights came on. Doo, doo, doo. And the farmer comes out on the front porch. We literally dove across the ditch into the woods. And went, I don't know, maybe 20, 25 feet into the woods and laid down in the leaves there. And farmer came out and he's yelling for his dog, "Bozo, Bozo!" And the dog finally went back to the house to him. Well, he put the dog on a leash and he had this big flashlight, and he comes walking down the driveway and he starts shining the flashlight around through the woods and everything, and this dog's just going nuts, jerking on his leash. And he says, "Sick 'em, Bozo, sick 'em." And, where are they? Where are they? I don't even know if he saw us or he knew who we were. He just knew that the dog was very alarmed that something was going on there. So he was pretty upset about it. And he called the police. Well, we were still laying maybe 25 feet into the woods there when we hear a car coming up the dead-end road, and it was a cop car. I mean, it had the blue lights flashing and everything, and you could hear the police radio crackling, and we knew that it was time to get out of Dodge. The last thing we wanted was to get caught by the police, and then have them alert our parents, and then we'd all be in big trouble. So myself, one of my brothers, and one of my buddies were laying there together. The other two, I don't know where they were. They ran further up and jumped into the woods somewhere up. But we were kind of together there. So we started crawling on our bellies, and we crawled quite a ways until we got out of the sight of the floodlights. The cops were shining their floodlights through the woods, and of course we were laying flat to the ground, so the light would go right over top of us. I guess they were looking for somebody running or standing up. We were laying down flat on our bellies, and we just kept crawling, doing a belly crawl, and further and further away until the light couldn't really capture us anymore. And then we got up and took off running. We went quite a ways back in the woods before we came out into this meadow open field, and then we just kind of camped out there until things calmed down. We had to figure out where the other two went and see if we could rendezvous with them somewhere, somehow, and head back to camp, because it didn't look like the toilet paper job was going to happen tonight. Well, little did I know, my other brother and my other buddy were farther up, and they had gone into this field where the weeds were, maybe waist high, and they went a little ways out in the field, and they just laid down in the weeds there. They told us that the cops were, shining their flashlights over top of the weeds, and they thought for sure they were going to get caught. And my buddy says one of the cops came through the field, through the weeds, with his flashlight shining all over at the woods and everything, stopped maybe about 5 or 6 feet away from where my buddy was laying in the weeds, unzipped and took a leak right there. My buddy was so afraid he was going to get peed on. Cop zipped up, turned around, went back to the road, and that was the end of that. So they were able to find their way out of there too. We all eventually met up together again and made it safely back to camp. Thanks, Butcher. I don't think he had any idea of the grief that he caused us that night. Our intentions were to cause him a little bit of grief, but I guess we got paid back in a bad way. Well, that's the story of, the Butcher and the Kawasaki that led to quite a story. But in the end, it was just one more adventure that we could tag onto the books. Thanks for watching today. I appreciate your support. And if you like the video, give me a thumbs up on it. If you haven't yet, please subscribe. Love to have you on our channel here. I'll keep you posted about the rally coming up and let you know what the details are later. Until next time, cats, ride hard and die free.